Travis Wayne Goodsell. It's 10 o'clock. Couldn't get to sleep because my mind was all caught up with the whole Percy thing today. And then I got the idea, hey, why don't I contact his boss? And then wrote the note. And then thought some more as I couldn't get to sleep, and then said, Adult Protective Services. They passed a new law in Utah last May. Last May, because it's not May yet for the new laws to take effect, where because of what the LDS Church did to me, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is why I have the lawsuit filed, but it hasn't been finalized yet, and so I'm still considered a vulnerable adult according to the state of Utah, which means Percy, when he threatened me today, and when he threatened all of us today, and I got it recorded today, I only showed you the clips that I was involved in speaking. I had recorded the 10, 15 minute, however long it was, rambling about how coronavirus is going to kill us all, and that we need to self-isolate, self-quarantine. No, you don't do that to vulnerable adults. So I reported it and mentioned I got the video, and wrote down exactly what happened also, so that they will know. It's a third-degree felony to commit a crime against me. Thanks, LDS Church. Now I'm coming after you. I'm still waiting for the lawyers to return my copy of the waiver of summons. Curtin and McConkey, what's taking you so long? All you have to do is fill it out, fold it up, stick it in my envelope that I self-addressed stamped, and mail it. That's all you have to do. And then you have until the 30th at midnight to respond in the federal courts. See, Utah is full of abusers. Mormons who abuse. I'm even watching on my website all the Mormons who put a thumbs down on the video I did today, where I talked about my encounter with my own former home teachers. And yet, thumbs down. Was it them who are watching my site? I don't think so. They don't care about me. Because I no longer attend church, I'm shunned. That's the abuse that goes on here in Utah. I was a faithful Mormon and betrayed by my religion, and they continue to punish me as a victim. They bully victims of abuse to bully the victims. That's how bad it is with Mormons. And so when you hear about these stories in the national news about Nurse Wubbles at the University of Utah who was arrested for doing her job, those were Mormons involved. When you heard about Lori Vallow, I think it is. I'm taking it for granted now. Her case, Mormon. The woman who murdered her husband, and the guy murdered his wife, and they got married, and they're a part of some doomsday afterlife or near-death experience cult, where she thinks she's a goddess who's going to bring about the apocalypse. Oh my God. And there's even indications that she may have actually killed her children as part of some ritual sacrifice. And then you hear about Nelson's own children, President Russell M. Nelson of the Mormon Church. His children have a lawsuit in the Supreme Court of Utah, where they're not doing it anytime soon to resolve the issue that was brought before them in that case, in which his children are being accused by a half a dozen people for ritual pedophilia, satanic ritual pedophilia, in the basement of their apartment in Bountiful, of their home in Bountiful. I mean, the national news doesn't cover 100th part of it. We've got cops here, Mormon cops, who are trigger happy, blowing away unarmed citizens. I mean, this is how bad it is. And these Mormons, they just want to be left alone. They're being persecuted for their religion. Oh my God. I mean, it's a nightmare. I did not grow up as a Utah Mormon. Those of us from the outside, before the 90s, because in the 90s, I guess Mormons from Utah were heading out to California to pollute the world. Because the California Mormon today, they ain't like me and my peers back in the day. I mean, I moved to Utah and I'm immediately blacklisted by the church, as I found out when they arrested me for filing a lawsuit against them in 2008, which is why I've got the lawsuit now, because as the photos that I put at the beginning of every video now, that's the evidence. The church is caught red-handed, but they think they're protected because everybody's Mormon and are loyal to them, giving loyalty oaths in General Conference, giving loyalty oaths in the temples. And this is the results. These are the consequences of their wickedness. Using a religious term, corruption, if you want to use a regular general term, criminality, is that the Mormon Church was supposed to have Zion built as a city of refuge from the latter-day storms. The coronavirus is the prophesied storm that Zion was supposed to protect people from. And where is it? It's nowhere to be found. And Mormons just get angry at me when I point it out to them. That's how corrupt the Mormons are. They're so blind that the obvious is completely misinterpreted. I mean, they do not understand you can't take someone's life, liberty, and property. It's a simple, basic law, and they can't see it unless it happens to them. And then all of a sudden, their eyes are wide open. You're violating my rights to life, liberty, and property. But if it has to do with somebody else's, they don't see it. That's a blindness I cannot comprehend. And they're my own people. I can't comprehend it. How they can't see it. I mean, there are times where something goes over my head, or I don't see it at first, but that's why my nature is such that I keep studying, keep reviewing to make sure that I got it all. And eventually I go, oh man, I didn't realize that before. Like with Heber C. Kimball, that video I did today, an hour long. That's a research video. I take you on my journey. There were things in there that was like, oh man, I should have caught that and I missed that. But that's why, is because I keep going over the information to make sure I got everything. And Mormons just don't do that. At least the Mormons that are left in the church anyway. Because apparently while I was disappeared by the church, the church had a falling away. As Mormons in the 10 million just stopped going to church. He said, nope, we've had enough. This ain't the church we grew up in. And the consequences of a corrupt church, that's what it is. A corrupt organization cannot stand. It cannot endure forever because of the corruption. It's a built-in mechanism that is self-destructive in consequence. But criminals don't get it. They only think of the here and now. They don't think of the long game. They don't think of the consequences and the responses by other people who are affected by their criminality. And that's the Mormons to a T. They don't see the future. And they're all about prophets, seers, and revelators. But none of them see it. And so, yeah, the prophets were supposed to see the coronavirus coming. They were supposed to see the Constitution being taken out from under us with a king placed on the throne of America. They were supposed to see all this because that's our church, the Latter-day Saints. You know, the Latter Days were preparing for Armageddon by having a city of refuge, and Mormons blew it. That's part of my lawsuit as I go over that, but the main thing is the pictures I show at the beginning. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. I filed. You think I'd have closure? I've done this video. You think I'd have closure? I have a new air conditioning unit which is working great. I'm impressed. It even glows in the dark. So I'm set for the summer as that air unit. It's crap. I mean, we're not even into the heat of summer yet, and already it almost gets up to 80 degrees during the afternoon. No, I can't have that. This is the shade. I have the windows blocked and yet heat. And it's on cool with the high turned up. It's a useless piece of junk. But yeah, this, oh my. This is awesome. I just have to make sure that I watch the water levels, but it's doing awesome.